Hello, welcome. I'm Jason Smith. I'll be your host today as we travel around the Triad and talk about all things new and new home construction. Today I'm joined by Andy Dreyfuss with Nova Triad Homes based out of Winston-Salem. Andy has a broad background in business, a master's from Wake Forest, part of the Piedmont Angel Network, Coca-Cola, Apple, to name a few. But tell us about Nova Triad Homes. Sure. And just to recap our prior podcast, tell us a little bit about Nova Triad Homes, your connection with Epcon,
sure.
and what you're all about.
Sure. So we're an Epcon patio home builder, in essence. We focus on the 55 plus market. And at any point in time, we have 4 to 5 subdivisions that we're working with homeowners on all across the Triad. And so the idea is to singularly focused on that buyer, primarily through detached patio homes with private courtyards. We do a little bit of attached product, but focus, and Epcon has terrific designs and knowledge on how to activate these communities for the 55 plus from a socialization perspective. Okay. So that's our focus.
All right. And today we're going to talk about on this podcast what makes the Triad so attractive. And we're going to talk about the Triad as a whole. Why is the Triad such a destination for retirees and just folks relocating in general? What are your thoughts on some of that?
Right. Well, first of all, we're blessed. We're in North Carolina. So, as we all know, North Carolina is a really popular state. So we have the attributes of North Carolina, right? Mm-hmm. 4 seasons, temperate weather. The Triad has an advantage in terms of housing prices. This is a very affordable housing market. There's something called a housing affordability index. And you take the price of used homes, the median price, divided by median income, and you get a ratio. So the worst places in the country are not a surprise. The Bay Area of California is at 11 and Los Angeles is at a 10. Well, places like Raleigh are very affordable at a 4.5, and Charlotte might be a 4. Well, we're down at a 3.25. So you can buy this home here from us for $400,000. And if you were to move to Charlotte, it's North Carolina, or Raleigh, this home would probably be at least $200,000 higher, right, because of the differential. So,
and that's typically in the land cost?
It's in the land cost primarily. That's correct.
Okay.
And so we have a lot of homeowners that are leaving Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and they want to get out of cold weather. They don't want to move to Florida, nothing against Florida, but they don't want to live with 22 million people in Florida. And so they look at North Carolina and they love it. It's a halfback state. And then they look at the 3 metropolitan areas, Charlotte, Raleigh, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, and we win on price and we win on the lack of congestion and traffic.
So it's interesting you mentioned the word halfback. Mm-hmm. We have many people relocate here. I guess they go from up north, they want to go to Florida, they get down there, for whatever reasons, maybe overcrowded, maybe just different things, they end up in the Carolinas, specifically in the Triad, and we do refer to those as halfbacks. They get all the way there and stop halfway back. So why is it so you develop all across the Triad? Do you have are there different intricacies whether you're in Greensboro or Winston or Asheboro is a growing market? What do you see from the different within the Triad? What are you seeing?
Sure. Well, a couple of things. I think in Forsyth County proper, Winston-Salem or Guilford County, Greensboro, we would be also selling to folks that are local that they want to stay in their community, right?
Yes.
So we need to be in the right spots that are near retail, near grocery, near the CVS and the Walgreens that they're used to buying. If we're in Asheboro or if we're in King, North Carolina, then it becomes more of a setting on urban convenience in terms of access to a Lowe's Foods or a Walmart, but then we're also in a rural setting. And this buyer wants peace and quiet, which is one of the reasons they like the Triad relative to Charlotte and Raleigh. Mecklenburg County and Wake County are crowded. They both have over 1 million people. Our 2 core counties have 800,000 people, 900,000 combined over much more space. So we're much less dense. It's easier to live here. If you happen to have grandchildren in Charlotte and Raleigh, you can be there in an hour. Right. You can be there in an hour, and you don't have to live with all those people.
Right. Well, let's talk about, we have good road systems, we have an airport, I think there's many things that are very attractive, but we have jobs, and we're in a unique situation where we're seeing a spike in these companies coming to the Triad, especially around the airport, Toyota, Boom, and others. What impact are you seeing from specifically companies like those?
Well, a lot. I mean, we have a housing shortage. I think those jobs will continue to come because if you're going to try to make something in the United States, North Carolina is a great spot for it. And then if you're going to try to make something, a manufacturing facility with good middle class jobs, you have to have affordable labor and affordable land and housing. And so that's why the Triad is winning relative to Charlotte and Raleigh, very expensive. And so we're going to see continued increase in housing demand for young families, and you'll see that in southern, Rockingham County.
Yes.
If we had more sewage and sewer capacity in southeast Guilford County, you would see it there.
Yes.
But then the spillover is our buyers, a lot of them are following their grandchildren, and so we see that. So we will continue to see baby boomers. If mom and dad take a job at Boom at the airport and they want to be near their grandchildren, they're going to live in the Triad in one of our communities.
Okay. What do you see as far as we have a unique location in the Piedmont Triad as we're very centrally located. A few hours from the beach, a couple hours from the mountains. Does that play any role? Do you ever hear that from your clients or buyers?
Absolutely. I mean, we have a homeowner that purchased a home from us in Kernersville, and he's a big bicyclist, big cyclist, and his opinion was, wow, I can get up into the Blue Ridge and up to the mountains from Kernersville very quickly, and I won't get killed on the road because I'm not in Durham or something that's really crowded. So we see that all the time, mountains, beach, and take advantage of our local amenities here in the Triad.
Okay. What about with the jobs specifically? And when you talk about Boom, we talk about Toyota. What other things are you hearing as far as jobs coming to the marketplace? I know you're real involved in that economic development part of the Triad.
Right.
What things are you seeing or hearing about our future moving forward?
Right. I think you'll continue to see a lot of jobs associated with manufacturing and obviously distribution. We are well positioned here in the middle of North Carolina, and also from a nationwide perspective, you can get into the Midwest quickly from here, and then also the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. So I think you'll continue to see manufacturing and distribution jobs, warehousing jobs. And as we said earlier, our labor is affordable and our housing is affordable, and we have great transportation networks.
And with your buyers, are you also seeing buyers that, I know people move here to retire per se to your product or semi-retire. Are a lot of these buyers now working longer?
Right. In this neighborhood here in High Point, we have a fair number. I think of the 25 occupied homes, we've got 3 or 4 I know where they are still working and they're in their mid to late 60s and they can work remotely. And so why not get yourself positioned, get out of Pittsburgh or get out of Hartford, Connecticut, and get close to my grandchildren. I'll keep working part-time remotely from my retirement home in the Piedmont Triad near my grandchildren.
Enjoy our beautiful weather.
Correct.
Well, thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome.
Let everybody know where they can find information out about Nova Triad Homes.
Right. Obviously on websites, we've got www.novatriad.com. We're on Epcon, www.epcon.com. And then we're on the typical social media platforms. We're on Instagram and Facebook.
All righty. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.